Welcome to CBS Sports HQ as we start to wrap up the games that were in the noon window. And we're going to start with number 21 Clemson. 59-35 win over the NC State Wolfpack as Clemson improves to 2-1. And NC State fall to 2-2. Big day for Cade Klubnik, 16 of 24, 209, 3 touchdowns, had 70 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. So counting for 5 touchdowns for Clemson today as they get the big win. Welcome inside our HQ studios. Jeremy St. Louis alongside Damien Harris. Chip Patterson, good to see you, my friend, and Beanie Wells here to talk about this game. So obviously, you know, they talked about it in the pregame show for the USC Michigan game. Danny mentioned the fact, you know, everybody was down on Clemson after what happened in that opening game. But today, this is a good-looking team. This offense looked good. What are your thoughts on this result? Obviously, very big win for them.
Well, I said this at halftime, and I think it still holds true. We have to talk about this Clemson team in a different breath now. They came out. Cade Klubnik showed up. This offense showed up. They made explosive plays in the run game, in the pass game. They really showed us a side of Clemson that we haven't seen all year. So I think that moving forward, this is the Clemson team that we're going to see. Dabo Swinney is not going to let them kind of tank back into what we saw the first couple weeks. From this point forward, it is onward and upward for Clemson. It was great to see, again, Cade Klubnik come out and just run the show. He did it in the run game. He did it in the pass game. He was incredibly efficient. And ultimately, I think that he was the deciding factor, you know, coming into the game. When your quarterback plays that well with that type of expectation, when he comes out and has a performance like he had today, that just motivates the rest of your team. And I think we saw that in how they played today.
6 touchdowns on their first 7 offensive possessions of the game. Some of them were long drives. Some of them were making NC State pay for losing fumbles. Sometimes they were able to get stops. Like when we talk about complimentary football, sometimes it's almost like you're talking down to a team, like, oh, all they can do is run and play defense. But to me, when you are going to be a title contender, it is about punishing teams for their mistakes. So Clemson was handling their business. They were making NC State pay for their mistakes. This is a great reminder to the rest of the Atlantic Coast Conference that Dabo Swinney and the Tigers won 6 ACC titles in a row, and now they're trying to get back to the top of the mountain.
523 yards. That's what the Clemson offense had. And obviously, when you look at that, you look at, okay, well, how did it happen? Like you talked about, it happened with big plays. It happened with methodical drives, 269 yards on the ground. This is what you want to see out of a team that's trying to make a run at an ACC championship. You know, when you go back and you look at Clemson, you look at how they lost to Bama, or sorry, not Bama, how they lost to Georgia in the earlier part of the year. That was a quality football game until about, you know, late in the third quarter when Georgia just outpowered them and ran away with it. Clemson made plays in that game, and we watched them today make plays on a consistent basis. This was a team that I believe can make a run. This was reminiscent of some of the earlier Dabo Swinney teams that we saw in years past. Now we're not sitting here talking about, oh, Dabo needs to hit the portal and get some of these guys. No, Dabo just needs to construct this offense to be what they were today and on the defensive side.
Yeah, to your point, Chip, 8 drives out of 14 today for Clemson that went for 5 plays or more. So being able to kind of eat the clock, sustain drives, and keep the ball here. How big is this game today, Beanie, for Cade Klubnik, based on what you saw from him?
Oh, man, it's huge because for so many weeks, I think people have still been trying to figure out, okay, is Cade Klubnik the guy to be able to get Clemson over the hump? Can he be a leading quarterback on a championship football team? And I think today he showed that. While we can say it was against NC State and they weren't a very good football team, he didn't have any situations to where he turned over the football. He took care of it. He made the right decisions constantly, and that's what you want out of a championship quarterback.
We want so many quarterbacks to be able to jump right in and be their best versions of themselves right away. Talking to the people around this Clemson program in the summer, there were 2 things that were saying. We think Cade's seen a lot of growth. We think Cade's gotten a lot better, but it was always couched with one thing, but we need him to bring it to Saturdays because they knew that last step, that mental step of being able to do it in a pressurized situation is something that he's got to get better at. And this is another huge step in that development for Cade Klubnik. And if he's going to be playing his best football and being more comfortable when the bullets are live, well, then that's a great sign for the Tigers moving forward.
And I think that most importantly, not only does this provide confidence for Clemson in Cade Klubnik and for the fans in Cade Klubnik, this provides confidence to Cade Klubnik. The way that he played today, what he can build off of. Again, he's heard all the talk that all of us have made about he's not playing well enough. He's not leading this offense. This offense is not efficient enough, and it's partly because of the play at quarterback. Well, now he can put all that to bed. All it takes is one, like if you're a great player, all it takes is one performance sometimes. All it takes is one play, one drive, and it just clicks. And I think that when we watched this game today, we saw Cade Klubnik and this Clemson offense clicking on all cylinders. So yes, it's very important for all the people that are evaluating Cade Klubnik. It's great for Dabo Swinney to be like, hey, we've got our quarterback. He's finally figured it out. But to me, it's most important that Cade Klubnik went out there, he performed today, and now he has the confidence to move forward to say, hey, we are still the team to beat. We can climb this ACC ladder, potentially get an ACC championship, and try to find our way back into the college.
He was hollering on the sideline too, you know, like he was like yelling at everybody. That's a good thing.
Those are the things, those like signs like that, are when you could tell it clicked with him.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that kind of emotion. We haven't seen that passion. Maybe that was due to uncertainty. Maybe that was due to underperforming. But when you see a guy in his element, wheeling and dealing, boop, 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 dialing it up, running the ball efficiently, and on the sideline, juiced up, getting his guys amped up and going, I hate to say it, but that's the genetic makeup of Clemson teams that used to beat Alabama in the national championship every year. And I think that, again, the confidence and the performance that Cade Klubnik can build off of today, I think that can do major justice for Clemson the rest of the way.
2 rushing touchdowns last week, gets one today, rushes for 70 yards, but like you said, the confidence, right, in being able that rollout where he threw for the touchdown, right, pinpoint, another one short on the goal line, the immediate look off and the pass in. There's a lot of confidence there with Klubnik right now. And so now, as Damien said, Chip, we're talking about this Clemson team in a little bit of a different light now. When you look at this schedule, I mean, Stanford's next, at Florida State, at Wake, versus Virginia. That's not exactly a gauntlet for a team that's, you know, that now we're looking at challenging for the ACC title.
It's egg in a spoon. Y'all ever run with the egg in a spoon? The old relay race? Clemson should win every game that is left on this schedule.
They should.
And one of the issues that has prevented Clemson from getting back to being that monster that they were for a lot of that 4-team college football playoff era has been getting got by an NC State, who they'd lost 2 of the last 3 to coming into this game. You know, getting got by Duke when you go on the road on that Labor Day game. This is the time for them to be able to live up to those expectations. I think they should win every game left on their schedule. They should show up in the ACC championship game, not only playing for that automatic berth to the college football playoff, but in a position to even get an at-large.
I absolutely think they should win every game. Obviously, the Louisville one is one of the ones on the schedule that you circle. And I think the big thing with Cade, I think that we all have questions, and you know, not just us, but the casual fan, is can he do it in the big moment when the lights are the brightest? Now, obviously, this was a great start in building that confidence, and building the confidence not just to him, but the entire football team. But that's going to be key for Cade, doing it in the big moments consistently. And I think that's what you want out of a quarterback when you're talking about somebody that can lead you to a championship. How do they play when the lights are the brightest? How do they play when the pressure's on? And I think that's yet to be seen. And I think obviously, you know, today was a good start in that direction.
Absolutely. Again, I'll just go back to the confidence, right? He didn't have a choice but to play NC State today. He couldn't have chosen to play Georgia today. He couldn't have chosen to play Alabama today. At the end of the day, he was playing North Carolina State today. He showed up. He handled business. He did it accordingly. He did it the way that it was supposed to look. That's important, right? He didn't go out there. They didn't go out there and grind and then score a couple late touchdowns and, you know, expand the score at the end of the game. No, they came out from the first drive, from the first snap, and handled business ultimately until they started to pull guys out and, you know, let's get to next week, right? But they played with an extreme level of confidence today, an extreme belief in one another, most importantly, an extreme belief in their quarterback, Cade Klubnik. And again, it's all about going 1-0 each and every week. It doesn't matter. We're talking about ACC playoff or ACC title picture. We're talking playoff picture. But at the end of the day, how do you even get there? By going 1-0 every single week. They did that this week. Now they got to take that same momentum, carry it over, and win again next week.
Can only play the guys that are in front of you. 59-35. Big win for Clemson today as they improve to 2-1 with the victory over NC State. We are going to take a break here on CBS Sports HQ, but first I want to let you know about the Cover 3 podcast because Chip.
Let's go.
Chip's doing the live podcast tonight, live reaction podcast. These are late nights for you, Chip. I got to give it to you, my guy, because you're up late with these late podcasts with the crew.
We say that we're only going to go for so long, then we go 30 more minutes because that's how much fun we have. We have thousands of people who watch live with us, firing questions at us, and so, yeah. Scan the QR code, download it wherever you get your podcast.
Well, you do the promo just fine.
I got you, yeah.
Appreciate that. Full highlights of Clemson and NC State coming up after the break.